Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm your co-host, Julietta, also known as the Magical PT. I am a physical therapist here in sunny South Florida, and I have a very holistic, alternative PT practice where for everything that you come to me for, we look at the whole body, not just, say your shoulder hurts. I'm not just going to look at your shoulder. We're going to look at the entire body. And when I'm not helping people heal their bodies, I also make jewelry and malas, and I paint, and I do this podcast, which has been so much fun. And I'm joined here with my lovely co-host, Allison.
I feel like your glasses match everything today too. They look really good.
My same funky cat eye glasses.
Yeah, your background. So I'm excited to be here. My name is Allison Mancini, and I am Human Resources and Operations Director at the Gold Digger Girl. I'm also a functional nutritionist, and at the Gold Digger Girl, we basically help women show up online authentically and create the life of their dreams. And I have the honor of supporting our staff there, both through human resources perspective and through nutrition, because my love language is definitely nutrition from my own experience. I am also married to an amazing guy for 28 years. I have 2 adult children, 25 and 22. And I live in South Florida, not too far from Julietta. It feels like we're so far away, though. By miles, we're not that far, but by time, it takes forever.
Yes.
Because if too many people are moving to South Florida, everyone stop. Stop.
Go move someplace else for a while.
Yeah, go elsewhere for a little bit.
It's supposed to get quieter in the summer, and I don't think we're going to get that this year.
I don't think that's going to keep happening. I feel like those days are over.
Yeah, a lot of people are making this more of a permanent
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I covered everything.
Yes. So, our sponsor this month is Bowtie Kids, and they are Courage and Confidence for Kids with Chronic Pain. It's an impact-driven, for-purpose organization committed to enhancing the lives of youth suffering from chronic pain and their families. Its mission is to inspire courage and confidence in youth living with chronic pain and their families by transforming lives through personal development, community building, and gardening to build a sustainable quality life. This month, on May 26th, next week, they have their Courage and Confidence Awards, which celebrates and honors community leaders who have been courageous and confident in taking on their own lives to serve and support others. You can purchase tickets, bid on silent auction items, enter the raffle, or donate to support their work at www.bowtiekids.org. And I'm getting super excited for the event. It's always fun. I've been to a lot of fundraising events that are honestly kind of boring, but the Courage and Confidence Awards are really fun. They always have a fashion show because Karen, the founder, is the bow tie girl, and she designs her own bow ties that are super cool. But also, I just found out one of my friends, Jane Boland, is one of the MCs for the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And you are muted. I heard you. I saw your lips.
I know. It's because, and I knew it was muted. It's because I have the puppies making all their lovely noises in the background. You can hear that? So low. Trying to save y'all from that. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that she was going to be emceeing. I think it's such a great organization, because it really is. People don't realize it, but you hear all the time that adults that are dealing with pain, but you don't understand that there are a lot of children that go through that as well. So
absolutely.
It's really cool. Yeah. So I just got back from a crazy week. Like a crazy good week.
I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. It was an amazing week. I went to Destin, Florida, which everyone's asking me, how was Destin? Was it beautiful? I'm like, it's like every other beach Florida town. I mean, it looks the same as if you don't live in Florida, that's amazing. When you live in Florida, you're like, yeah, I can see that 20 minutes from my house. Yeah. But it was beautiful, and I shouldn't downplay it. We stayed at a incredible house right on the beach. It was 3 stories tall. It had a rooftop patio. I mean, it was phenomenal. But that was not the best part. The best part was being back at an in-person event. It was so wonderful. There was about 85 women. Some of our students were there. And I walked away from last week remembering how critical and important in-person events are for not even just that community, right? We missed out so much on community over the last few years, and now people are starting to get back to it. But I just want to really encourage you, if you're comfortable with it and you feel good about it, I really encourage you to check out in-person events. Every single woman that was there was 84 of us, I think. Every single woman walked away from that time together like changed, like you because you're so immersed, right? You're so immersed in everything you're learning and being with people and having these deep conversations that we just don't have on a regular basis. So it was absolutely life-changing for everybody at some level. So that's my little shout out to in-person events. 100%. They're happening again. Go do it. Join in. There's all kinds of them going on now. I know there's tons of them coming up this fall. So if you can make it happen, be there. For your business, for yourself, whatever.
Definitely something that I've missed. Even for myself as a physical therapist, we have to do courses to maintain our licensure.
Right.
And for the last licensure period, for the first time ever in my life, I did all of my trainings on my computer. And I'm a physical therapist. Like, we touch people for a living. You can't touch people through a computer screen. Right. So it was very frustrating for me because I just don't appreciate the online. It's a great resource, and yes, I take advantage of it, but it's not a replacement for in-person trainings.
No, and it was even as our staff, there's 15 of us on staff, 16 of us now, 16 of us. 14 of us were able to be there. And even for us, like, it's fabulous. Like, when people ask me what I do, and I can say, I work from home, I work online. Yeah, that's really great, because I truly do live a laptop lifestyle where I can go anywhere I want. But it is still really great to be around people, and for us as a staff to be together. And, you don't have, we say it all the time, we don't have those water cooler moments anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have that, like, casually going to the kitchen to grab a coffee or going by the water cooler where you have that little small talk. You don't get that when you're working remotely. So it's, I think it's really, it just takes me back to how important community is. I was listening to a live interview, actually, of one of the women I work with, and she was saying that, it's scientifically proven that we are wired to have community. Like, that's how we function. And when we don't have community, it really throws us off. And I know that was a big issue during the pandemic. There were, a lot of people that were not doing well because they didn't have that. So, yeah.
All right. Let's bring our guest on.
Let's do it. Hi, Marie.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Would you please introduce yourself to our audience? Tell them who you are and what you do.
My name is Marie Novak. I am the owner of Little Light Travel. We're a travel agency that brings luxury travel and Disney destinations to our clients. So I plan all Disney, whether it's Disney resorts, Disney cruises, actually National Geographic expeditions now, which is super cool. But also all kinds of luxury cruise lines, and just all-inclusive vacations to step away from kind of the craziness of life. It was definitely a difficult decision to launch a travel agency during the pandemic, but I knew we were gonna slowly but surely crawl our way out of it, and we are now. And like you said, we are social creatures, and we love to explore, and I like to help my clients do that in the safest and best way possible. and enjoy what's out there, but do it a responsible way. And I think that that's why travel agents and travel agencies are so important now. There are lots of ways you can travel, but we help you find the best destination for you and your family. And I think there's something for everyone now, no matter what level of comfort you are, whether you are back to going out and being part of larger events, or whether you're looking for something to still travel but be more just your family. I think there are destinations for everyone out there, and it's nice. It's nice to be able to help people do that.
I I am a traveler, and I've thought many times in recent years, you know, you used to rely on travel agents to do all of your travel planning, and
Mhm.
now, so many people just do it themselves online. And but I think there are a lot of benefits that people don't realize to using a travel agent.
I think now, especially when it comes to what's going on with the airlines, what's going on with just having someone, if you are comfortable with international travel, I think travel agents are an amazing resource for you, because just regulations change on a constant basis. So I think just having someone to double check and to even just send you in the right direction of, how do I find out if I have to test? When do I have to test? Um, is there any documentation I need to provide prior to going? Because almost every country has a different app you need to fill out, or a time period you want to do it. And travel agents, we try to be up to date as much as we possible. I mean, sometimes, I'll tell something to someone, and then 5 minutes later it'll change, and I'll be back on the phone saying, "Oh, that conversation we just had? Well, it's now this." But you have someone that is watching everything and can help you through it. I had a client that, it was fine. They chose to book their own airline travel with themselves for a trip that they did, and literally 5 minutes after they booked it, the flight had already changed. So, and just because they booked it themselves, I didn't leave them out in the cold. I went through them, I helped them, because I was doing other aspects of their vacation, and we rolled with the punches, and we got it through, and they had an amazing vacation. But yeah, nothing is set in stone anymore, and it's nice to have, a friendly face to help you when you don't know what else is going on.
Absolutely. So, with that, we are going to dive into our questions. And our first question we ask everyone is, what is one book that you wish every goddess would read, and why?
And it's probably, I'm gonna guess it might be one that no one has ever told you, but I could be wrong. I don't think, maybe I'm not that unique, but it's called Enjoy Every Sandwich, and it's living each day as if it were your last. And it is an amazing, I don't know if it's a tribute. It's a tribute to life and death in the same ways. It was written by a gentleman, a doctor, called named Lee Liptonthal. And he was, I believe, in 2009, diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And he battled for 2 years, and he did eventually pass away. But it's documents not only his life and, going through the diagnosis with his friends and family, but what he did with that diagnosis, and not stopping and enjoying, learning that nothing is promised to us. Every day is a new day, and you wake up with a decision of what you're going to do with that day. Now that doesn't mean you throw caution to the wind and you just do anything you want to do, but it's that you make a conscious decision every day of how to live your life and what you're going to get out of the life. There's still good. There's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be tribulation in your life, and it's what you choose to do with it. And I think it's just a remarkable story. And you'll come out happy, you'll come out sad, but it's definitely powerful.
Well, you are accurate. No one else has brought that book up before. So, um, yeah, it's definitely a book I've not ever heard of, and it doesn't look like Allison has either, which is amazing because we're both total book geeks and have been through many. And yeah, such an important lesson for everybody to, really be present every day and enjoy each moment of it, because none of us know what's coming up next.
Yes.
So, um, our next question is, what is your top self-care practice and how does it support you?
I thought about this hard, and I know a lot of people have like they have to do this or this, they do a specific thing as their self-care practice. But mine is more, no matter what day it is, take 15 minutes. Take 15 minutes for you and do something you love. That doesn't mean it's the same 15 minutes. Like I love bubble baths. I do. That's my go-to. But if I'm camping with the kids in the middle of whatever, I'm not going to get a bubble bath, and I'm not going to be disappointed about it. It's just, but I also love to meditate. I love to walk. I love to, have a drink with friends, a great cup of coffee. I have a lot of loves, and I've written down things that make me happy. And sometimes it's just, I can't do any of them, but it's 15 minutes of looking at the list of things that make me happy, or adding something to the list that makes me happy. So it's just take 15 minutes. Sometimes that's all you can schedule in there, and just whether it's looking into yourself or doing something for others, but take that 15 minutes and realize what you're doing or why you're doing it, and enjoy you for that moment in time.
Yeah, I love that.
What I find so interesting is, because in my work as a PT, I also look at emotions and how they're affecting the physical functioning of our body. And happiness comes up a lot.
Mhm.
And it always makes me so sad how many people, like, I ask them, like, what makes you happy? And some people don't even have an answer to that question.
Mhm.
And I'm like, if you don't have the answer to that question, it's time for you to find the answer to that question.
And I
So,
also think it's that people think it needs to be a big thing that makes them happy, like a
right.
travel, or going on this, a giant family reunion, or being able to buy your first house, or stuff like that. And I think we've lost the little joys in life, like getting a really good cup of coffee at that small coffee shop that you couldn't go for 2 years because it was closed down, and now everything's reopened again. I think we need to get back to finding the little joys in life. And then I think the little joys in life bring us to the bigger joys in life, because
Mhm.
you can't appreciate what you've had until you lost it a lot of times. And losing the big things are really tough if you can't handle losing the little things. So yeah, I think we just have to, it's always great to reach for your dreams, but sometimes you got to realize doesn't have to be 5 million miles away. It can just be right here.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
Made me think of my kids. They need to. I think our young generation today doesn't enjoy the little things because they're so, I don't know, they're just so inundated with stuff. But yeah, I would agree with you. All right, so our next question for you is, we all have difficult days and we still need to show up and get things done. So how do you rise up and get through your day when you're having those difficult days?
I remind myself that a day is finite. It's 24 hours. No matter what you do, you can't add time to it. Unfortunately, you can't subtract time either, but you can't add time to it. So my grandma used to say, this too will pass. So you just got to get through it. And once you get through it and you hopefully get to put your head on that pillow that night, the next day you choose to wake up and it's going to be different. You can't control everything in your life. You can't control, you planned to go to do X, Y, and Z, but someone else had another plan, or I know a bunch of brides this week were supposed to go flying down to Jamaica and get married, and then all of a sudden the airline, what's it called? Air traffic controllers went on strike, and yeah, you weren't landing in Jamaica that day. No one landed for
Oh,
24
that's such
hours.
a bummer.
But you can't control that. You can't control that, and there's just nothing you can do about it. but it's what you do with that time and how you fix it and how you look at it. And it's just that one foot forward, or as Dory says, just keep swimming. And you got to keep swimming that day, and you got to keep moving forward and do the best you can. It might not be great, but do the best you can to get through it. And tomorrow's going to be a different day, hopefully. And maybe after a good sleep, you'll look at something differently and you'll figure out what you needed that you just couldn't do that day. So that's what gets me through the fact that it's only 24 hours and we're blessed, hopefully, to get the next 24 hours.
Yeah. I always find a good sleep usually makes you look at things differently, even if it's just a quick cat nap or, you know what I mean? Just a time to lay down. I was telling Julietta the other day, it was like a week ago, I just needed to just lay down. I just needed to just lay down. It was just for a few minutes and I felt so much better afterwards. Sometimes that's just what you need. I love
Well, I
that.
mean, look at it. What do we always do when our computer doesn't work or our TV doesn't work? What do? We turn it off and unplug it, you
Yeah,
know?
right. Yeah, we gotta do the same for ourselves.
And hopefully, when you plug it back in and turn it back on, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
We need to
So
reboot.
we need to, it works for that. We have to realize that sometimes you just have to take, maybe that's your time, you take your 15 minutes that
Yep.
day and find what makes you happy. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you're not getting through it, it's not gonna fix it.
Right.
So hopefully you can walk away. And if you can't, just keep thinking to yourself, okay, I'm at work for 8 hours, 10 hours. I was a nurse. I get it. There's some days that 12 hours feels like 36. Um, but it's going to end, and then think of what you have that day when it ends. And then maybe it's just your bed and sleep, but that's still wonderful.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Our last question to you is, what is a life experience that played a big role in forming who you are today?
It was when I realized that what I picked as my career at 18 didn't have to be my career.
Hmm.
You go through high school, you go through guidance counselors, you pick what you're going to do. And I was going to be an attorney, and I did everything. I got my bachelor's. I went to law school. I practiced, and I realized I was miserable. I was completely and utterly miserable doing what I had picked to do. Um, I didn't see myself being able to have a family. I didn't see myself being able to do everything I thought I was going to do. So, do you keep going, or do you? At that time, I thought cut my losses, but it really wasn't cutting my losses. Or do you cut your losses and totally change focus? Um, so it was a lot of soul searching, and what I realized is I sat back and looked at what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and what I liked about the job and what I didn't like of the job. And what I loved about the job was the people. What I hated about the job was everything else. So what can I do with people? So I went back to nursing school. And people thought I was crazy. And you know what? I probably was. But if I would have listened to those people, or I would have worried about those people, I wouldn't be where I am today. Um, and so I went to nursing school. I ended up working nights. My husband worked days. I had a family. It was a great opportunity. I supervised the hospital. Then I lost my dad. My son was diagnosed with autism, and my husband got a great job where he traveled all the time. So it was time to make another decision, and I became a stay-at-home homeschooling mom.
Yeah.
And then people look at you like, well, you have how many degrees, and you're staying at home and you're homeschooling mom. But yeah, I am. I was, and it was a great time in my life as well. Because once again, I'm a people person, and the people just stopped being patients and started being my kids. And now my son's doing great. My husband's job is great. My sons are 13 and 12. Um, and I realized, okay, they got a couple years and they're going to be out of the house, and I'm still not one foot in the grave yet. So I got to do something else. So what am I good at? I'm good at people. So then I love to travel. I love to help people. So the travel agency was born. So across the board, it was realizing that a job is a job. what you like is what you like, and you have to find out what you're good at in life and just do that no matter what title you give yourself.
I love that. We talk about that a lot, that, we grew up, at least my generation grew up,
Mhm.
that you go to school and you get a job doing a thing, and that's what you do and that's what you stick to. And I never really followed that mold. I was kind of outside. I was more like you. I worked. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I worked and I did some other things, and I always felt like people were being judgmental of me about it. And I'm sure that there were some, but the reality was is that I needed to go through all of that, and I needed to have all those experiences to get where I am. And
Yeah.
it's one of the things I'm really impressed upon my kids now that they're 25 and 22 is that it's okay if you're not doing what you thought you would be doing, right? Like in
Oh
10 years,
yeah.
if you're doing something totally different, it's okay. So,
And you know what? I would have been a terrible nurse at 18, 19, 20. I would have been. Um, I didn't have the empathy for it. But I think being an attorney taught me what I needed to do to be a nurse. And it also, when people were leaving the nursing profession, it taught me, hey, you had something much worse. You hated it much more than, or was harder than this. And it gave you a different perspective on, yeah, this is a really bad day, but even on this bad day, you're still loving this way more than you loved what you did before. So it just, I think if you can get past the fear and you can get past what you think people are judging you with, because in the end, you're accountable to yourself and whatever power you believe in above, and your family. And I mean, as long as you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your family and your faith, does it really matter what other people think? I mean, you know what I mean? It really doesn't. And maybe they're not your people. And that was another reality I've learned. The people that I was with at 18 are not necessarily my people at 46, 47. And that's fine. That is completely fine, just like I might not be their people. We go through stages in life, and we go through, that doesn't mean I don't love or like those people anymore, but they might not just be my
yeah.
people I'm meant to be with at this point in time in my life. And that's okay. We don't have to like or love everything everyone does. We just have to respect their abilities to do it.
No, I agree.
Mhm.
I love that. You said that beautifully. All right. So, if there is one thing that you would like our audience to take from our time with you today, what would that be?
I think it is just enjoy life. Enjoy, and you have to have goals. You have to move forward, because if you're not moving forward, you're not growing. But you don't need to move forward 100 miles an hour. Sometimes just stop one foot in front of the other and enjoy the point that you're at now, and don't necessarily race to get to where you're going. It's going to be there, and it's going to be there no matter what. But enjoy the ride, enjoy what gets you there, because then you're going to appreciate getting there even more.
Yeah, it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yes, it is. It really is, because a lot of times you learn more from the journey than you ever will learn from ending up where you end up with the destination. I mean, the destination will be fabulous, but if you missed everything along the way, what's the point of a road trip?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today, Marie. It has been fantastic having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And we also want to thank our sponsor, Bowtie Kids. I hope some of you local to South Florida will come join me at the Courage and Confidence Awards on May 26th. And thank you to our listeners. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. And if you've liked what you've heard, please subscribe, follow, like, share. Uh, get the voices of the goddess out there. And if you need to get in contact with Marie, Allison, or myself, check the show notes. You can find all of our contact information, social media, etc., in the show notes. And with that, I want to wish everybody a magical day.
Bye.
Bye bye.